Okay. And tonight on the Guy and Harley podcast, Guy Pigden and Harley Neville taking up the arse. Marvellous, I can't wait. My name is John Campbell. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast.
And I'm Guy Pigden.
How's the Campbell intro?
It was good. I don't remember what lyrics they were from exactly.
Don't remember that song? John Campbell, national icon in New Zealand, a national treasure. Do go check him out. If you're an international listener, you'll be like, who the fuck is John Campbell? He talks exactly like that. Exactly like that. So,
We're here.
it's the last episode of the year. It's the last episode before Christmas. There's so much happening. I just don't even know where to begin.
Well, where should we begin?
This is what happens when your co-host has literally no notes.
Well, no, I haven't had time to write any notes. So I've been working since I guess about 8:30 a.m. today.
Yeah, well, we've all got jobs. But I did have to say to Guy, so we're going to do one more show, and it was like, well, only if we can squeeze in a little shorty, because this is a short Christmas special, because Guy's got marking to do, things to pack, places to be.
Yeah, mainly I've got to do packing because I'm going away tomorrow for 3 weeks to Dunedin and Queenstown and Nelson. So hitting all those places, spending a lot of money that I now no longer really have any facility to spend due to the fact that I've been made unemployed a couple of weeks ago. I did not realise that, obviously, when I booked up this holiday. I was living large.
Yeah.
Money was no object.
Yeah. You also bought a arcade machine.
Bought an arcade machine.
Bought an arcade machine. The excesses of success.
Yeah. Well, I always thought to myself, like, my definition of being rich, my definition was I will have...
How many arcade machines?
Well, not how many, I will just have one.
Right.
That was my definition of rich. I was like, when I can afford an arcade machine...
I'm rich.
And I can just literally have an arcade machine, just like the many that I played in my youth.
Yeah.
And I just have an arcade machine. I won't be sinking 20s into it every Saturday when I go and get my fish and chips anymore. It's just going to be sitting in one of my rooms, in my mansion preferably, because I'm rich.
You keep that 20 cents. You keep every 20 cents.
And
it's like the savings.
And so as a parting gift, a retirement gift, if you will, to myself, MIT didn't give me a retirement gift of any kind. In fact, it was very... sort of, oh, cool, see ya, sort of vibe to the whole affair. It was like, I've been here for 3.5 years.
They're like, sorry, sir, what was your name again?
Well, it was kind of like...
And what do you teach again?
Well, it was kind of funny because they were like, we had our sort of marks meeting where we sort of talk about all our marks. And I was like, okay, well, obviously that'll be over Teams. There's no need for any of us all to be in the same place for that, Think of the environment. And it was like, no, everyone has to be there. And so I rolled on up, and lo and behold, 2 people weren't there, and they were participating over Teams, whereas I'd driven my dumb ass all the way from residence here in Mount Eden all the way out to Manukau to attend something that was taking place also virtually.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, so wait a second, I could have just hopped on Teams. And the boss was like, no, that was for 2 people who could not be here. And I was like, well, fuck it, I couldn't be here either.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be here?
Yeah.
It was just, it's the madness of the like jobs, really, the inefficiencies of jobs, where it's like, rather than just say,
why try and build? It's for team building. That's why you'd be in person, right? Is team building. But why build a team of people you're firing?
Well, also
doesn't make any sense.
That's the other thing is like, yeah, I kind of get it as like, would like to have this meeting in person. However, if you have a good reason, such as you will no longer be employed the following week, you could probably just attend virtually.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't participate. I'm not saying don't check your marks and do all your due diligence, do all that, but there's no need to, waste a lot of petrol and time.
Yeah. What's the time as well? Because that's a fair hike.
It is a fair hike, especially in rush hour, which it is.
Yeah. Well, sound off in the comments, fam. I know we've got a few people out there, so let us know. Give us your listener topics and all that type of thing. It is a very sad episode of Who's Dead this week. I am, of course, talking about my Canon 250D because it fell off. It was on. So this is an unrelated story. A few days ago, it was sitting on my desk.
This is completely unrelated.
Completely unrelated. It was sitting on my desk, and I was moving things around and doing stuff. And my desk has two layers, and one layer is about 20 centimeters taller than the other. So it sort of steps up. It was on the higher step, and it fell over. It fell off while I was moving something, and underneath it was my iPhone just waiting there, just screen up. And so the Canon 250D and its little wee tripod fell off like a sledgehammer and smashed directly into the face of my iPhone, which was very displeasing to me. Fortunately, the screen protector cracked, but the screen itself is safe. So always use protection, listeners. And then a couple of days later, coincidentally, that camera died. It just didn't turn on again. Stopped turning on. But it did turn on after the drop. So anyway, that's gone now, which is a damn shame because I used that once every 3 or 6 months.
Yeah, well, but it was just a pure coincidence that
No, well, actually, what really happened was I've got this cheap battery adapter, which you told me to get. You showed me the setup, this cheap battery adapter to make the Canon 250D so that you can plug it into the AC power in the wall so that when you're doing a live stream, it doesn't run out of battery or go to sleep or anything like that. But it's not an authentic Canon product. And so this is the second time it happened. The first time it happened, 6 months ago, or 10 months ago, a year ago, whenever it was. And basically this cheap, adapter that I bought online,
Chinese
fried,
adapter.
It was Chinese, and it fried sort of the insides of my Canon somehow. So I took it back to Canon, and I was like, "What's going on here? This is
I don't get it. This is weird.
Your faulty product. This is not very good, is it?"
Yeah.
And then so they fixed it, and they were like, "Yeah, look, that's really weird. Like that's a really weird." An unlikely thing to happen. It was really just unusual. They don't normally break like that.
Our products are very reliable.
That's a weird way for it to break.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens like once in a blue moon. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's weird. Anyway, fix it, please. So they fixed it and sent it back to me. And now I've done it again. And I feel like they're not going to believe me the second time.
Well, they're just going to be asking questions about the circumstances. And to be honest, I've read some things about those dummy batteries now, which indicate that is a thing that can happen.
Yeah. What happened to me twice.
So, trying to save money, this is what happens.
But the thing is, there's no Canon
That's the
one
problem.
that you can buy.
That's
the problem. So it's like, it's either use the cheap one or don't use it for streaming.
Yeah, well,
so this is the issue that Canon is really, this is Canon's fault.
It's Canon's fault. Well, I think the answer is we could use a more expensive, not Chinese dummy battery.
Right.
And have better results.
I see. Yeah, well, I guess I just didn't really know where to look for. I just bought that one that we'd used last time.
Would like to welcome everyone and also, just quickly comment on the amazing piece of artwork that you've created here in the studio for us this week. You whipped this up really quick, actually, because
it was not very long since the last show, was it?
So we've got
this is a bit like the filmmaking though, because to be honest, I actually work on multiple paintings at once. Usually.
Yeah.
So I work on multiple paintings, and I sort of have one, ticking over in the background. This one's been ticking over for a little while.
What do you call this one?
This is a self-portrait.
So that's you in the middle?
No, that's me on the fat baby on the side.
Oh, you're the chubby little baby.
The chubby little baby on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a self-portrait.
Who are the rest of the people?
That's my former family. I grew up to murder them.
Okay. They're gone now.
They're gone, except for the dog. I'd never hurt a dog.
Yeah, so the middle guy seems like the boss.
Yeah.
Or he was.
Yeah. No, that's like Trump though, mate. That's you just put the big moron in the middle. Everybody aims their hate at him, and you're behind the scenes pulling the strings.
Well, speaking of Trump,
yeah,
Elon Musk,
yep,
has turned into Trump quite successfully. He's successfully deconstructing his entire image almost overnight.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, yeah. You're not on Twitter, are you?
I'm on there. Yeah, I'm on there. And I do follow him. But I don't check it that often.
Right. Well, there was his QAnon suggestion to follow QAnon. That's a good one.
But what he posted, he goes follow, and then it had a picture of a rabbit. Does that mean QAnon nowadays?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's the QAnon symbol.
That's,
Yeah.
Allegedly, that is like if you.
I feel like I've posted worse.
If you've who gives a fuck about you?
Exactly, that's the point. He's just a normal person as well.
No, he's
who
not.
Who gives a shit what he tells you to follow?
He's a tech billionaire that has kind of stakes in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just some jabroni at a desk talking nonsense.
Yeah, but the difference is only how much attention people are paying.
That's true. Like, don't get me wrong, that's true. Except, look, man, the impeach Fauci? My pronouns are impeach Fauci.
Yeah.
Really?
It's funny.
Well, there's a couple of there's two things that are problematic.
Yeah.
One, discrimination against
them days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Suggesting that a man who has dedicated.
I don't really think that's discrimination. I feel like that's a very woke definition of discrimination.
Well,
though.
the woke people aren't
use
happy.
A slash. Yeah, but fuck them. They're not buying Teslas anyway. They're riding horses and shit. These fucking hippies. These fucking loony lefty hippies.
Just being like, this is the thing though. Is like almost every second or third tweet he makes kind of makes him a fucking big asshole. And not only does it make him a big asshole, kind of makes him a big super right-wing asshole.
He's not right-wing.
Well, he is.
He's a centrist.
He's not. There's nothing center about his posts. Like, they're very, like, that's, I guess this is my issue is like, man, Elon, you lost me, bro. Like,
he hasn't posted anything that I consider right-wing that I've seen.
Peach Fauci is not right-wing.
Not that I'm aware. I mean, he's obviously got some beef with Fauci. And he's like impeach
This
him.
is going to be every episode now. I'm going to just bring up the tweets and you're going to go, I don't know the thing. I don't know.
The thing is, I don't really know much about Fauci, right? So he's the guy that was working. He was like the health minister during the pandemic over there, right? So he was recommending how to use the vaccine and so forth. That's fine, except for I don't really know much about how he handled it. And America had a horrible response, so probably not very well. So maybe we should probably impeach the guy that completely.
But actually, Fauci was the one.
But he was the one that was like pro-vax and he was on the right side.
Yes, and Elon appears not to be.
Yeah, but Elon is not anti-vax. Elon is anti the mandates, anti being forced to do anything. He's anti being forced to do anything. I don't entirely agree with him, but I also don't really give a shit what he thinks, about that much. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. Well, like I can kind of appreciate the free speech.
This is the thing. I feel like you would have come down
harder
with
on
great hatred of furious anger if Trump had tweeting this stuff.
If Trump had tweeted. Impeach Fauci? I would have been like, I don't really know who that is.
But I guess the suggestion is fundamentally this guy who is dedicated to stopping, minimizing, mitigating the virus and taking it very seriously. Yeah. He's saying that he's full of shit. Yeah. And all his sort of things that he tried to build around protecting people are also bullshit.
He's not saying
and
that
he
at all.
needs to go on trial.
That's literally not what he's saying.
That is exactly what he's saying. That's exactly what he's fucking saying.
No, he's not.
He's saying
Guy,
that
I'll tell you
all
what
this
he's saying. Impeach him because you can't take away people's freedom and be forcing like vaccines on people and stuff. That's what he's talking about. Well, again, I don't agree with him, but like... Fuck it.
Elon is off the rails, bro. He's way the fuck off the rails.
Nah, man, he's
out to lunch. And not only is it this is the thing is I was an Elon fan. Yeah. But this constant thread of bullshit and this constant
Just stop following him.
But this is the thing, he's super right wing.
He's not super right wing.
Oh my God.
Guy, you've become so left wing that the center seems like the right wing to you.
Okay,
but it's
really?
not. Actually, the center is where he's a free speech absolutist and he's in the center.
Okay, back to his free speech absolute bullshit is that there's been many instances where he has been criticized and suspended the accounts. It's not free speech. This is another one of the big criticisms
Again,
where he's
you're getting all your news from the headlines. You're not looking into it. You're
okay,
not.
what is the
So what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about the jet, the plane, the jet thing?
No. I'm just literally talking about people that have criticized his tweets, and then your account has been suspended.
Have you gone
That's
and
not free
checked this
speech.
at all, though, Guy? Because you can't just believe everything you see on the internet, you know? So people say, oh, he blocked me. Well, did he? Did he really? Or what really happened?
No,
I mean, did
he
you look into
suspended
that?
people's accounts. Yeah, but like this is like this narrative is not like a small couple of people. This is heaps of different things relating to heaps of different instances with him.
But it's not him. You know, he's not a moderator on Twitter, right? You know that's not his job. He's the CEO of the
yes.
company.
And
He directs the company, but he doesn't come in and go, hey, you know, block these people, suspend these people specifically. I mean, like maybe every now and then.
Yeah, I think that's actually exactly what we're saying he's doing. And that's exactly the problem, because either you can criticize Elon Musk as much as you like because he's a free, what did you call him?
Free speech absolutist.
Yeah, but he's not, because
apparently on his platform that he owns,
Yes.
he might have suspended some people's accounts
For free speech.
For maybe for free speech, but we
Yes.
don't know. This is all speculation because you're only basing it on a headline, right?
Saying, all these are going to be just headlines and speculation.
No. The truth is not going to be just headlines. The truth is going to be the truth, right? So you got to look into it. And so the headlines, what you got to remember is that there is a lot of people who really are reactionary, and they get all hyped up, and then anything that says Elon or Musk gets way more traction on the internet. So especially if it's something to do with outrage. So that's what's happening here, is everybody's talking about it, and they can find any little thing they can, and then they're throwing it at you in your Twitter feed and saying, like, you know, and you're like, yeah, this is what it all means. But actually, none of it is really that important.
You say that, but really it's like, it's not just like one, and it's not just one tweet. It's like I said, his own thread.
Yeah, I've seen his tweets. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like he's yet to lose me. He's yet to lose me. I haven't seen him post anything where I've been like, oh no. He posts things I don't agree with. I'm not always like,
Twitter suspends CNN, NYT, WAPO journalist critical of Elon Musk.
Okay, but why are you like? Maybe that's true, but I don't know anything about that, and I don't know that Elon Musk is, you know, in there, you know, doing that. And it's like that headline. I bet if you read the story, is like, oh yeah, the day before he also posted some pictures of naked children, you know, but they don't mention that bit in the headline. You know, they just go, oh, he was suspended. They don't mention that he was a pedo.
This is coming from a right-wing outlet. This is
exactly, because he's not right-wing, because they don't like him either, because he's in the center. That's the thing. He's not right-wing. He's in the center.
The guy wanted to reinstate Trump.
Okay, the guy wanted to reinstate accounts
on
that
Twitter.
accounts that had been banned, that he didn't think should be banned on account of free speech, not because he agrees with what they're saying necessarily.
It's only
Trump
the accounts that he thinks we should ban.
Trump has taken like big shots at Elon as well, so it's like they're, you know, it's not like they're mates, you know, like he's doing it again because of that free speech thing. It's like, cool, all right, well look, everyone can do that, you know, just get yourself verified, and you know, let's see, we're going to see how it works out. Maybe this will work for Twitter, or maybe it'll be a complete dumpster fire. But it doesn't make it too big a difference to me and my Tesla stock. You know, it's all a big.
Well,
it's all a big.
The Tesla stock is
distraction
an
on the
all-time
side.
low, and Elon Musk is no longer the richest man in the world.
Yeah, but
So it does make a difference.
no, because the stock is at an all-time low because the entire world is at an all-time low. Apple is really, really low. Everything's really, really low. You go and you look at all of the stock market is really, really, really down because of the macroeconomic environment. That is the war, the inflation, and the COVID, and you know, supply chain issues associated with COVID, all of that type of stuff. And that's what's happening here. We've had this huge jolt to our economy with COVID, and now we're recovering, and everything's all down at the moment. Sounds to me like a great time to buy if you like a company. And yeah, like that's why it's down. And then of course his shenanigans as well are affecting the stock price, and this whole Twitter thing, like buying Twitter and having to sell stock in order to buy Twitter obviously affects the stock price of Tesla directly. And so yeah, sure, that sucks. But oh well, like for me personally, right, I'm trying to accumulate more. So I don't really mind if it's cheap at the moment. I'm trying to buy more at the moment. I remember feeling like, oh crap, I missed out. I really missed the Tesla train there. And then now, thanks to Daddy Musk, I've been blessed with the second opportunity to buy in.
Well, I'm absolutely horrified by his personality. as it relates to Twitter. I am certainly concerned by several things that have been posted relating to his sort of, I guess, ulterior motives to what initially seems like a
What's the ulterior motive? Like
making money.
He is shown so many times that he is not really that interested in the money because he's got so much. He doesn't care. Like he's selling Tesla stock now while it's at an all-time low. That's a super shit time to sell. His if anything, Tesla should be buying back that stock maybe while it's so cheap. But he's doing whatever he's doing, and he's spending money on Twitter. You know, he said at the beginning what his plans were. It was called the master plan, and it was like, cool. Here's what I want. Here's the Tesla master plan. Here's what we're going to do, and here's why I'm doing it. And then he's very much stuck to all of that stuff. He's been authentic and true to the that initial plan, which is what he told us he was trying to do. And the stock price, he could do things if he wanted to make the stock price go up and down. Tomorrow he can make the stock price going up by getting Tesla to buy more stock, for example. But he doesn't care because it doesn't even matter. It just floats. It's always going to go up and down. He'll be the richest man again next week. That's the way it works now.
Let's continue to track Elon's both tweets, and stories relating to him, and in upcoming episodes, and we'll see if your prediction is correct.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I really feel like in 2025 to 2030, I'm going to be very happy that I was buying stock in 2022. And 2023, and it's going to be like it might go. The economy might be slow for quite a few years. We don't really know how long this thing's going to last. But I'm thinking, hey, look, 5 years, 10 years, really? Is it going to be that long? I don't think so. I think that in that time, I'm going to be happy that I was buying during this.
Prosecute Fauci, not impeach Fauci. Prosecute Fauci.
Yeah.
The Musk report. That's right. So I'll be keeping track. I'll be keeping track from
our favorite new segment.
From a left-leaning perspective.
Yeah.
Which I unfortunately thought you were once upon a time, Harley, but you've swung right.
I'm a loopy liberal lefty, and I'm probably in reality actually further left than you. I would say, but I'm a communist now. No, but Elon Musk, I'm just like, yeah, he's totally in the center, and I see that everything he said there is in the center. He's done no things that I would consider right-wing that I've seen yet. He's not at all trying to do any of the stuff that, like Trump was trying to do. And
I mean, prosecute Fauci?
I don't know anything about this prosecute Fauci thing, though. This is the problem, is I don't know what Fauci did. So I need to read up about it to find out what Fauci did. And I feel like you don't really know the specifics and ins and outs of what he did either.
Yeah, I understand I understand.
Okay, but you've got to read it and look into it, right?
Yeah, but properly. I mean, I've read several articles about it.
You've read several headlines about it.
No, see, this is the thing. You can't, this is the thing. Just because you haven't looked into it at all.
But it means I can't comment on it.
Yeah,
right.
But it doesn't. But then you can't also then negate what I'm saying by going, well, you've just read some headlines. I read a whole article based on what they like. The basic concept of prosecute Fauci is that Fauci made up a bunch of stuff around the coronavirus, around COVID, which was not true, to further this sort of control agenda. All the stuff that we talk about here being absolute fucking nonsense.
No, because you've got to figure out why he wants to prosecute Fauci, because you're assuming that because Trump and these other people, you're assuming that because Trump and these other people think this and they want him prosecuted, that therefore anybody who thinks he should be prosecuted thinks the same thing as Trump, which is not true, because I'm sure that Elon's problem is to do with free speech being inhibited as opposed to being right-wing morons.
Well, that's a leap.
I don't think so.
But I guess we'll continue to monitor. We'll track his career with great interest.
Well,
on Twitter.
Absolutely, us and the rest of the world. So this is going to be the new.
What dumb shit did Elon say this week?
It's going to be the new jab chat. It's going to be the new jab chat. We just won't shut up about Tesla and Elon for the next 3 years.
Yep.
While he's all there is to talk about. So what else you got?
Well, Superman was scheduled to return and was announced that Superman was returning. Henry Cavill returning as Superman. And now he's not anymore.
He's cancelled that and he's moving on to a Warhammer 40k movie.
Well, he hasn't cancelled that. They've cancelled him. So he was all scheduled to return as Superman. He made a cameo in Black Adam. Then DC was taken over. DC Movies was taken over by James Gunn and someone else. And essentially they're like, yeah, you know that whole Superman thing? We do want to do a Superman, just not with Henry.
He's been one of the most popular Supermans ever, though. He's like so loved. You know, he's a really well-loved Superman.
Well, he's certainly more loved than the previous Superman.
Yeah, who was that?
I can't even remember his name, which is bad because I do know it.
Yeah.
Someone in the comments will know.
Yeah.
Not Christopher Reeves, of course, the iconic original Superman.
No.
Brandon Routh.
Right.
So Brandon Routh was not well received. It wasn't a great Superman movie.
Yeah.
I think with Henry Cavill, everyone's like, yeah, it's a better Superman than that, but we kind of still don't really like this Snyder Superman either. And then it's like, and then he's been away after the failure of the Justice League and stuff, and now they're like, he's coming back. He's in Black Adam, and he's going to be a big part of DC's future plans. And they're like, oh, that was the old DC. The new DC doesn't want this version of Superman. And so he's been fired. Well, not fired. I guess you can't have a... Well, you know, the other thing that's very interesting is, and this is more to do with HBO Max, who DC are connected to. So HBO Max cancelled the release of Batwoman. They literally shot the film. They made it. They edited probably all of it, at least a draft of it. And then they were like, you know what? No. We're not releasing this. We are going to use this as a tax loss, right? Because we think that is going to save us more money than releasing the film. And obviously, the people that made Batwoman are upset. Batwoman fans are upset. And also, but now, like, that's only part of it. And then they say it's all part of this HBO Max Warner's merger of some description. But also the other thing they're saying is, like, Westworld, good old Westworld, we all remember Westworld, is being removed from the only place that it's streaming, which is HBO Max, because they don't want to pay residuals to the actors. This is after they cancelled Westworld and had to pay all the actors for a season that they didn't do. So they paid them all. And now, apparently, next year, they're going to remove that from streaming because if they kept it on streaming,
they've got to pay them.
They'd have to do another payout of residuals.
And I guess they just calculated that it's not going to make enough money to cover all those residuals.
Or the subscriptions that it retains or whatever.
Yeah.
And so what's, I guess, interesting about that is that they are essentially erasing series from history to some degree, potentially very good series. I guess I have one more. And within that, sort of purely to save money, purely to avoid doing what was traditionally done through syndication and DVD release.
I thought it was art. I thought we were making this because it's art. And we release it because it's art and the art has been created. But no.
Well, no, it's to make money.
It's all to make money. Everything in the world is to make money. The reason why I do the Guy and Harley podcast is for all the money.
This is not
you got to use
well.
your hand like this. You got to have it. Yeah. Okay. For the listeners at home, he just poured the beer all over himself. Get that phone. Oh, that's all right.
It's all right.
iPhone is superior
will
technology.
Be fine.
No worries.
It's a shitty fucking can opener.
Well, I couldn't find my bottle opener, but to be honest, your technique was not great.
Well,
Terrible technique.
I don't think I needed it to be good. Just trying to think if I've got anything in here.
No, it is extremely shit. I couldn't find my good one.
But I guess what we're saying now is that essentially we used to think that everything lived on streaming forever.
Yeah.
And like that was the whole idea is you put something out on streaming and then you would go, well, you know, it didn't have a great release, but it's always there for years to come on streaming. And now because essentially people have forced streamers to pay royalties, much like they did in the past. Now they're going, cool, well, we'll just stop streaming it, which is quite a scary proposition that essentially a good thing can come out and just be erased from existence.
Well, life is cruel. This is a sort of a reflection of life in many ways, where these amazing things that don't, that deserve the best, and then just for whatever reason, life cruelly conspires and you end up with this type of bullshit.
Nocturnal says streaming is supposed to be our passive income for retirement. Yeah, I'll use my shirt to wipe up that. Gee.
Sorry.
And so it's like essentially a new technique, a new cheap corporate technique that is now being sort of utilized against streamers, and this is like the first instance of it. So Westworld, and I think there was another couple of ones that are just going to be just removed from the platform. No way to get them except, of course, piracy.
That's the thing. It's so stupid. They're just driving their own product towards piracy, but I guess they're just, it's all about that bottom dollar at the end of the day.
Well, to them, they're like, look, a bunch of people are going to pirate it. We're not going to make any money off it, but we're not going to have to pay any money for it.
Well, makes sense, I guess. Well,
it's just really, really bad, because if you where it used to be that you could make something that was a really critically acclaimed, awesome thing, and you go, oh, it wasn't like a big ratings hit when we aired it on actual TV, but it'll find its audience. It'll find its audience online. And now essentially all those sort of really interesting but not super accessible shows, they'll be like, oh, well, we don't want it to find its audience online because we'll have to pay you guys again.
Yeah.
So there'll be no audience, there'll be no Batwomans, there'll be no Westworlds. We're just it's like they never existed.
Yeah.
The snap.
Well, that sounds like the type of mistake that a big, powerful legacy corporation that's been around for a long time would make, and that basically it's going to come back to haunt it in some way, because somebody else will somehow fill the gaps that they create. And I don't know.
I guess the whole interesting thing about this too is that it's all related to streaming and everyone's race to have a streaming platform and have an audience and have a sort of a Netflix. Since Netflix. So Netflix did it, and then everyone was like, shit, I don't want to license our things to Netflix. I want to be Netflix.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, so let's spend as much money as possible on content, on good people making things, showrunners, all that sort of thing, and the creation of these things. And we'll kind of try and grab up all the land. And now the sort of the streaming land. And now the sort of the bubble has burst where they're like, oh, streaming land is not super profitable and presumably costs heaps of money to maintain on servers. That's really that streaming cost, so you have to have a huge uptake of subscribers to mitigate that, plus however much all the things cost. And so now everyone's going, oh, we went for all this land, but we didn't really get it. So now we have to fuck over everything. And then where the pieces lie, we don't know. So I just think that's quite interesting because, that could be us.
Could be.
Critically acclaimed things that find their audience online. It could be us, except it won't be if we get cancelled prior to that.
Well, fortunately, nobody has the power to cancel the Guy and Harley podcast. So we're home free.
I was more thinking about like the narrative things we'd make.
The Pigville projects, they're films. But yeah, okay, sure.
And actually, YouTube can cancel the Guy and Harley podcast.
Only on YouTube. They can't cancel it on Twitch. They can't cancel it on Spotify. Shout out to our Spotify listeners. Shout out to iTunes. It's out on Twitter. It's on Libsyn.
It's streaming on Twitter right now.
It's streaming on Twitter right now. So it's out there. Elon Musk is watching it on Twitter. Daddy Musk is watching on Twitter. Now, Henry Cavill, speaking of which, and speaking of James Gunn and Amazon and all the rest of it. So Henry Cavill is maybe going to make an Apple Warhammer 40K series. This is big news. This is awesome because, I mean, are you familiar with Henry Cavill and his Warhammer connection?
Well, sort of semi. So I'm familiar that Henry Cavill was a fat, ugly kid who was picked on mercilessly as a child for liking things such as Warhammer, as you should pick on people mercilessly who like Warhammer as a child. But
Warhammer's the best of all the sci-fi franchises.
So you know,
it's not like it's Star Wars or Star Trek. It'd be even worse.
I'm on board with that, but essentially, then as he grew up, he became a handsome man, and as he became handsome, he started.
The story sounds so familiar to me.
He started working out and became really, really buff. That's where the story. That's where the similarities end.
Hey man, I'm fucking jacked.
You decided to put on the Christmas weight prior to Christmas.
Me?
Yeah, well, both of us, to be fair.
Yeah,
but, you know, normally we're like, the post-holiday weight has really come on. But it's actually pre the holidays.
Yeah.
And the weight's come on.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I know that he's blossomed into a beautiful swan.
Yeah.
But he still maintains his love for all those things.
Stuff.
He builds PCs.
Yeah.
He seems like a genuinely very nice guy.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Down to earth, he sort of gets it. And you know, apart from being, you know, really, really ridiculously good looking and jacked, he loves his PC, loves his games, and I guess loves Warhammer, loves The Witcher, but loves The Witcher so much that he's talking about not the games, but the source material, and in fact stopped playing The Witcher because he was not happy that they had not maintained the
original source.
Yeah, like they...
Was it a book?
Yes, so it was a book originally, and he was like,
guys, you're deviating from the source material a little bit too much. And I just want to flag this.
And they're like, Henry, we're paying you millions and millions of dollars. Who gives a fuck?
And he was like, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to leave.
I'm an absolutist.
And so he essentially quit The Witcher over them not being... you know,
authentic to the source material. Well, he's a man of virtue and honor. Yeah, he's a man of virtue and honor. So he's
fucking nerd. That's what he is.
He is making a Warhammer 40k. Well, he is. It's well known that he is into Warhammer 40k.
Yeah,
I can't remember what army he plays. He plays maybe the Custodes. I feel like he might play the Custodes, but I could be wrong. So he is a Warhammer 40k fan, and he went on the Graham Norton show, and there's kind of a meme or a little video of him talking about it, and Graham Norton's like, "So you play with your little plastic soldiers," and you know, and so. You know, he's a known Warhammer fan, and he wears like Warhammer merch sometimes, and you know he talks about the game and stuff. And so I can't remember which director it was, but it was all happened on Twitter. But some director was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so now he's going to be a star and producer of a Warhammer 40k film. That he's going to Warhammer 40k Apple series. That's what that's what it's going to be. And so supposedly Apple is in the Amazon series maybe. I don't know. Anyway, whoever the fuck it is looking for the rights, is trying to get the rights to it. But that will be excellent. I don't know who he's going to play, but he's absolutely built and has the look to be a space marine, which are these big futuristic, you know, manly space warriors. So he would absolutely fit the mold for that one. And there's yet to be made a proper. This is an interesting thing: is that Warhammer 40k is really, really popular, and it's had a long run. Warhammer 40k is a desktop, you know, battle game where you roll dice and your soldiers kind of attack each other, and it's a strategic tabletop war game, and it's set in the dark future, and it's been around for a long time. It's got a good following, and but they've never been able to make a good live action film of it because it's just the scope is too big. Everything has to look really kind of real and gritty, and it's kind of really expensive basically, and it's just probably the risk is a little too high. There's quite a lot of good animated ones. There's lots of good games, lots of good books, but there's no movies yet, no real proper movies yet. So this might be kind of the first live action, you know, decent big budget Warhammer 40k thing, which would be awesome, you know, because I'd love to see that. I love Warhammer 40k, as long as they don't lose the flavor. They've got to keep the grimdark. That's the secret. You got to keep the grimdark with the Warhammer 40k. If you lose that grimdark, you lose me.
I think if we've learned anything from trying to make these things, is that no one gives a shit and it's going to be a big flop.
Well, it might be a big pile of shit if they make it, if they don't stay true to the source material. It'll be a big pile of shit probably, and it could be really dumb and cringy.
But let's not forget they did just make a Warhammer movie, but it was set in the olden times Warhammer.
Did they? I didn't even hear about that. So they made
We talked about it on the podcast.
Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
A live action.
Yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy. We didn't talk about that. I haven't. I didn't hear anything about a Warhammer Fantasy, a live action Warhammer Fantasy game.
Yeah, I think
Movie or show.
Maybe
I would know. I would know if I'd heard about it. What's it called? What's the deal?
Warhammer?
It's just called Warhammer.
I think so.
And it's set in the fantasy universe. Are you sure it's not a game or something?
It was definitely not a game.
Yeah.
Because I saw it.
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I'm saying that I haven't heard of it.
Well, I think what's confusing to me is that we discussed it on this podcast. This is what's throwing me for a loop right now.
Yeah, as you think we discussed it.
I think we discussed it on this podcast.
Well, maybe the listeners can let us know. Did we talk about a Warhammer Fantasy game?
Or
movie?
I'm remembering something that was not Warhammer.
Yeah.
So all I remember, just what I vividly remember is an incredibly sexy orc.
Right.
That was the really only highlight of the movie. Was terrible.
Yeah.
And I thought we talked about it, but maybe it was.
I haven't seen it.
But it was like
I just Googled Warhammer Fantasy movie, and the first thing that comes up is fan film. You know, fan made.
So what am I thinking? This is the Mandela effect.
Yeah, don't know, mate.
What am I thinking of with a super sexy orc?
Well,
Warcraft. Thank you, Tyler.
Most orcs are quite.
So there we
sexy.
go. Warcraft was what I was thinking.
Yeah, he's talking about. Right, you're talking about Warcraft.
Huge mistake. Big difference, buddy.
There is a big difference.
Big difference.
To be honest, if you want to really be true about the difference between Warcraft and Warhammer. Yeah, they're totally Warcraft, definitely ripped off Warhammer. And then they made StarCraft, which is set in space. It's Warcraft, but in space. And StarCraft is an even bigger rip-off of Warhammer because they've got Space Marines, which are just called Marines or Terrans or something. They've got two others, like basically in the Warhammer 40k universe, that'd be Eldar, humans, and Tyranids, right? But over there in the StarCraft universe, they're like, they're called something else, I can't remember. The Zerg, I think. The Zerg and something else. And anyway, they're basically a complete rip-off of the Warhammer 40k. They've been transplanted over and dumped into this new universe. I think I heard a rumor that originally it was designed to be an actual Warhammer 40k game, and then they couldn't get the rights to it or whatever, and they could turned it into StarCraft and kind of made it similar to, but legally distinct from Warhammer 40k. And so that's why it's super kind of feels very similar.
Well, as long as Warhammer 40k has sexy orcs in it, it's got a shot.
Nah, no sexy orcs. Well, I mean, it depends what you're into. But I've only ever seen male orcs, and orcs in the Warhammer 40k universe are a fungus. They're not born like male, female, they're a fungus. They grow like a fungus. And so I don't know if there are female orcs in the Warhammer 40k universe. You're out of luck.
I'm picking this is a huge
there are lots
flop
of sexy
of 2025.
No, there are lots of sexy people though in Warhammer 40k.
Well, there better be something to keep the casual viewer, because
you've got the Dark Elder, aka the Drukari. You've got the Sisters of Silence. And you've got the Eldar, the normal Eldar, not the Dark Eldar. There's lots of sexy people.
Normies hate science fiction.
Normies.
And look, I see it. I understand it. I feel like the new Lord of the Rings series is a good example of how people don't give a shit about this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. I love that stuff. But I also kind of understand that it's like, it works in a game or book context in a way that it doesn't work maybe when we're watching it. And you have people, what were some of those names again?
The Drukari are the Dark Eldar.
I mean, that's not too bad.
They're like elves. They're basically space elves.
Yeah.
And then you've got, the names are great. That's the thing. Like, you've got the Sisters of Silence. These Sisters of Silence are like anti-psychics kind of thing. Like if you're a psychic and you go near one of these Sisters of Silence, all your psychic powers are gone and you're just trapped in reality. The Eldar and the Dark Eldar, the same sort of thing. You got the Imperium of Man, that's us. We're basically the baddies. You got the orcs. There is orcs.
Fantasy just don't translate.
But this is sci-fi fantasy. But yeah, I mean, it could be done. A lot of the games are really, really good. Like if you watch the introduction to Dawn of War 2, go back onto your PlayStation 2 and watch the introduction to Dawn of War 2, or whatever platform it was, you'll see it's a good introduction video. Just go on YouTube.
Speaking of worthwhile games to movie adaptations, The Last of Us. Seen the trailer for that?
Well, unfortunately, not only have I not seen the trailer, I didn't play the game. I never got to play the game. You were playing it. I never got to play it.
I played it. I played it at our old flat.
Yeah, I remember.
With our old flatmate who maybe owned the game or something.
Yeah.
And
Who was that?
The Asian guy?
Phil.
That's the one. Phil.
Yeah.
So Phil, I think had it and he was like, oh, you should play it. And I was like, probably won't. And then I did and I was hooked.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best games. And then I played the second game because it came out like 10 years later or something ridiculous. I played the second game with my girlfriend once removed.
Once removed?
Once removed.
Only once removed?
Yeah, only once removed.
Yeah. So can you clarify the removed thing? Because obviously, so you've got your current girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is your first ex, is that your girlfriend once removed?
It would be once removed.
Okay, so your previous, your ex is twice removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, so my previous girlfriend, I played it through. It was also kind of good, but it also did some stuff that I fundamentally disagree with when you blow up sequels by essentially making the first one redundant.
Yeah, like Aliens.
Yeah.
Like what they did on Aliens.
Or Alien 3.
Alien 3, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Alien 3.
Yeah, but anytime that happens, I'm like, I can't get on board with it because it's like, I went on this journey with you to here. Now you've taken a big dump on that journey, and I feel bad. So yeah, I can't get on board with that. Tyler says that he's just watched Avatar 2.
Mate, just what I know, we want to talk about Avatar 2. I've got an Avatar 2
The Weight of
story
Water?
too, but
The Way of Water?
Wait. The internet has stopped working. I'm no longer on the Wi-Fi on either of them. So I don't know if you're not
Well,
working.
I can't see. You will have to scroll up to see if we're still streaming.
Well, it says we are.
I mean, I could see the internet thing going. So
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So Avatar 2.
So Avatar 2, Tyler says that he's just went to see it. Now, fun story about Avatar 2. Our friend, longtime friend and star of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust is in Avatar 2 for a few seconds.
Yeah. Oh, she actually more than a few seconds. I spoke to her and she got a call back. She's back in even more.
Well, you say that, but I think in the ultimate runtime, she's only in it for a few seconds.
I see.
Because she's been to see it.
I see.
So Jocelyn Christian, she is one of the stars of Avatar 2. She's in it. And she has a part in it. Maybe Tyler spotted her. Maybe he didn't. But
I would love to know if Tyler recognized Susan from I Survived a Zombie Holocaust in Avatar 2. And if you didn't, you need to go back and rewatch it, mate.
You need to sit down for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing that. The Weight of Water, the water weight, Avatar 2, Waiting for Water.
Yep. I'm going to go see it because she who shall be named is a really big fan of the first one. And so she would like to see the second one.
Well, it's a good film.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she didn't know that I am actually one of the stars of Avatar 1.
Did you point out your bald head in the background?
I did point out my bald head in the background. So little
Was she
known
impressed?
fact, I am in Avatar. Yeah, she was really impressed, actually. She was like, she couldn't believe it. She was like, is this real? Really? She was actually really impressed. She was like, wow, because she had seen that film a lot of times, she said.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was genuinely impressed. Plus, we've been together for a year and she didn't know. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a call from my girlfriend. Should I take it on? Should I
take it live on air?
Should I take it live on air?
Yeah, why not? What could go wrong?
Hello? Yeah, I'm doing a podcast right now. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Love you too.
So Tyler says that he didn't spot her.
Right.
Well, she was only in it for a little. Excuse me. That's the COVID talking.
Yeah.
So what's funny about that is she did this Avatar thing a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it was not an amazing experience for her. All the things that have been rumored to be true about James Cameron being a prickly asshole on set.
Those were not her words, I'm sure.
Were true. Were confirmed by her.
Okay. Well, hopefully she doesn't watch this episode.
I don't think we're in any.
Not appreciate
I don't think we're in any.
Hopefully James Cameron isn't watching.
I don't think we're in
Shout
any
out
risk,
to James.
Not in any risk of anyone seeing this. But anyway, he was just kind of like what has been described as James Cameron to be, and it wasn't a super amazing experience for her. But then they got back in touch with her and called her back again and flew her down, and then they were like, thanks. And they just picked the other person that they also flew down. And she was like,
but you've missed a large and important part of that story.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, keep going.
So essentially her first time there, she had this scene on something, and she was doing all this stuff, and it was very technical because she was pretending to see these big blue aliens everywhere, and James Cameron was sort of like, just not happy about anything, and she was like obviously stressed out because it's like, this is sort of a dream come true to work on this thing, and maybe he's and he's pissed off at me.
Yeah.
I want to do a good job for one of the greatest directors in the world.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't an amazing experience. The second time, they're like, are you available? And she was like, yes. They flew her down, and then they literally just flew her down and they had two people, and they picked the other person. And she was like, oh, and just flew back.
So did she shoot the scene? Or they just turned around and flew her back?
No, they turned her around and flew her back.
Right. So
and then the third time.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying is so those two sort of experiences, you would have been like, damn, I was an Avatar, but it wasn't really all I had hoped. And then the third time they reached out to you and they're like, hey, we need to do some pickups for Avatar because there's this. Tyler says, I wonder if she was on the whaling boat. I'm not sure what boat she was on, but anyway, they were sort of like, hey, we actually need to come back to fill in some gaps. And she was like, well, sure, I'd love to. There's one problem. I'm in England right now, so I can't come. And then they were like,
there's a second
what's the problem?
There's a second
They're
problem.
like, what's the problem? And she was like, well, I'm in England. And they're like, no, that's all good. And then she was like, also, I've just had a baby. And they're like, that's fine.
And the baby's breastfeeding.
And they're like, we will fly you back like business class and your baby, so you can take care of the baby because new baby, 6 months old or something like that, to shoot these scenes. So all expenses paid just to come back and shoot these extra bits and pieces. And she was like, yeah, okay. And so she went back and filmed, and she said there was a much better experience. JC was much more mellow because I think probably he was getting to the end of the film. These were just pickups. He'd done all the hard lifting. All the problems were solved now. And he was chilling. And he also apparently loves kids. And so she had her kid there as well, and he was like, oh, look, check this out, oh yeah, here's the little, and so everything was great. And so she kind of got to rewrite her own history in a way that very few people get to do, where the first experience was like, damn, I feel like I let down or I wanted to be part of this thing, but it wasn't amazing as an actor. And then the second time was like, oh damn, I got picked and then not picked. Harley can relate. Carl
was
Urban
always on the short list. Yeah,
I was going to say Carl Urban incident, the urban incident.
Yeah,
the urban incident, and then that third time it was like she got to go back, shoot some extra bits and pieces. It was a really nice experience, and all expenses paid. Can you imagine? Can you fathom how much? So obviously there's a fee, which wouldn't have been super small, relatively speaking.
Well, if they're flying her all that way,
but then there's business class with a baby, there and back, plus she had a driver to the airport, there and back, plus she had the hotel while she was there. Like, it's pure insanity.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's our mate Joss is in the film.
Is in Avatar 2. Avatar.
She's starring in Avatar. She is one of the stars of Avatar.
Yeah.
Avatar 2, The Weight of Water.
Well, she's always been following in my footsteps as young Joss. I was in Avatar 1, now she's the star of Avatar 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying it's really good too. Avatar 2. And also, yes, it has to be the 4th highest grossing film of all time to break even.
Right, yeah, which is a huge risk. I mean, he does have a good track record.
Never bet against James Cameron.
Yeah, he's got a great track record, don't get me wrong, but it's a huge risk.
It's so weird, though, because he keeps doing this.
Yeah.
Which is like, this is not the first time he's made the biggest
but how's
budget
it doing? Is
film
it
of
working?
all time. Well, all we know now is that the reviews have been generally pretty good.
Right.
And people have been like,
And so
"Fuck,
it's
this
in
is pretty
cinemas
cool."
now, is
and
it?
it's just come out like 2 days ago.
Yeah, so we should really go to it because we obviously want to support the New Zealand film industry as well because we want him to make Avatar 16 here. You know, we want that to continue because I might get to get a line or two.
You
in
might
Avatar
get
16.
you might get shouted at by James Cameron.
Yeah, again.
You might get browbeaten
Well, remember he told me to go to the back of the room
because you look too
because I was too young. Because I was too young. I was too young, so he told me to go to the back of the room, face the other way.
How times have changed.
How times have changed.
He'd say, "Come to the front of the room."
Come to the front,
because you
sir.
look fucking old
because
now.
you're famous, Harley Neville.
Because you're fucking ancient.
Because you are a national treasure in New Zealand, Harley Neville.
You are archaic.
I saw your half-hairy meme, and might I say, I chuckled.
Please bring this old man, please bring this shriveled old man to the front as he will be authentic in this scene now.
Yeah.
Hans Mole Man.
I was a scientist, god damn it.
So I'm looking forward to watching that. And the problem is that they filmed all of the next one as well, I think.
Right. So there's no casting me for the next 6 years.
Not unless they're going to do the 4, 5, and 6 or
Speaking
or whatever it is.
of acting, I think it's safe to say that I did not get any of my roles that I auditioned for. I had a number. Last time we did a show, I had a few that I could potentially still have. Plus, I had to follow another one in the morning. After the last show, I had another audition, which I just got before the show. And that was a real easy one. No dialogue. Just had to walk in there and do some goofy looking, do some acting looking. Huh? Ooh. Did not get it. Obviously, I was not goofy enough, I guess.
Goofy actor wasn't goofy enough.
Yeah. Also, though, it was one of those auditions where they have you in a room with two or, well, in this case it was two, but I hate it when this happens, when you're forced to audition with somebody else, because if that other person is shit or if those people are crap, then you look shit. It doesn't matter. Like, it definitely affects the tape, because people might see you with one person, you've got great chemistry and it goes great, and they see you with another person, they're like, ugh, everybody here is horrible. This is disgusting. I hate everything that I'm seeing right now. And so, yeah, it's a tough one. So I was in there with two other dudes, but to be honest, they were fine. I mean, it's hard to really fuck that up. You just had to look around. But anyway, I did not get it. Well, as far as I'm aware, I did not get it.
Tyler says that Jocelyn is a really believable actor. Are you casting her again soon? Yeah.
If we ever make something.
Nocturnal says he thinks he went to the same audition.
Well, he might have. Yeah, he might have. Favorite Christmas movie? It's got to be Die Hard, right? I did a live stream the other day as well, right? Which was just so I've done live streams before. I've worked on live streams for quite a long time. I've done lots of live stream kind of stuff where I'm like doing camera work or running the live stream. The other day though, I did one where it was not for another company. It was a Pigville Productions live stream, and it was just me. I took my assistant, she who shall be named, and all the new kit that I've bought, and I borrowed a few bits and pieces off of you, and then went and did this live stream. It was a meeting at a golf club. It was a corporate sort of meeting at a fancy golf club, and coincidentally, a couple of days beforehand, Sir John Key, had hit a hole-in-one.
United?
Yeah, ages ago.
Jesus.
Sir John Key had a hole-in-one at this course just a couple of days ago, a couple of days before my event. I was like, ooh, la-di-da. So I got to do that the other day. So I guess that was good.
I guess it's authentic for someone born in wealth and privilege to be knighted.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
That's how it happened in the old days.
Yeah. Yeah, buy your way in, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my favorite Christmas movie, it probably would be Die Hard.
Gremlins.
Okay,
Gremlins
so
2?
I want to talk about Gremlins.
Yeah.
I just rewatched Gremlins.
Yeah, and you were like, this is shit.
It doesn't hold up.
This does not
hold up. And I was trying to think why it doesn't hold up.
Maybe because you're not 7, though.
Well,
Yeah,
but Star Wars still holds up.
Yeah, true.
Back to the Future still holds up.
But do you think that part of the attraction of things like Gremlins, though, is that it's a scary horror movie and you're a kid, and you're watching something you're not supposed to be watching, kind of, whereas Star Wars, is a film that's kind of aimed for you and it's, it lasts. Whereas this one, part of the allure is the adultness of it. Ooh, little green monsters, that's so adult.
I was shocked at how it didn't hold up. And
Gremlins 1?
Yeah, Gremlins 1. And I was sort of like, I think the issue is this. The Gremlins themselves...
Are you saying Gremlins?
Gremlins.
Is that what you call them?
Gremlins.
Yeah.
Or Gremlins, whatever. The Gremlins... The Gremlins, I guess there's no I in it. The Gremlins are these little animatronic puppets.
Yeah.
And in 1984, that's really revolutionary.
Yeah.
That's really like, whoa, look at these crazy animatronics. Look at all the things they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them's got a mohawk.
Yeah.
One of them's one of them's driving a little toy car.
You're talking about, but that was the main one. That was
Gizmo.
Gizmo was driving the toy car around the toy store.
Gizmo's eyes can blink.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never seen an animatronic with blinking eyes before. And I think that all of this stuff, obviously the novelty of that, and obviously as a kid, that's even more novel. But now we've been so saturated with visual effects and special effects and crazy shit that kind of selling point, that unique selling point that at the time you were like, man, this is really amazing, is completely irrelevant now. If anything, it looks shit.
So now you're just stuck with the story.
So now you're stuck with the story, and the story itself is like, it's okay, but it's basically these gremlins attack a this little small town on Christmas and play pranks that kill people, and that is not in itself this. Oh man, I'm dying to see this.
I'm gonna watch the sequel.
And so I really feel like it doesn't hold up purely based on the special effects being such a selling point at the time and being so irrelevant now. But I would like to see Gremlins 2 to see if...
Which is the Christmas one? One of them set at Christmas, I'm sure.
The first one, they're both set at Christmas, I believe. But the first one is...
fucking genius, right? Cash in on the Christmas market as well. You combine the horror market with the Christmas market.
I mean,
laughing.
There's a lot of fun stuff that happens in them, and I guess that's the thing, again, when you're a kid,
did that director go on to do much? Did it launch his career?
He did quite a few other things.
Was that his first big film?
Joe Dante. Probably his first, he went on to do Gremlins too.
Big film.
But, it's just interesting to, so many things that I watch, I'm like, still holds up. Last Crusade. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Still holds up. Back to the Future. Still holds up. Gremlins does not hold up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor's dad from Smallville is in Gremlins 2.
I think what you mean is Lex Luthor's... What you mean is the guy from Gremlins 2 is in Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it would have been first, presumably.
Yes.
So I've got a couple of shout-outs. Shout out to Tyler Adams on the live stream, Sam Wheeler, Nick Zalati, Jamie Oxley, all the gang. But I also got some feedback here from Brian Burns. So I got a shout out for Brian Burns, who's Brian Burns 1969 on YouTube, and he's been following us for a long, long time. And he commented on our last episode last week, and he said, "God damn, as someone who's been following you since the early days of Pigville, when we were like 20, watching you two grow up to be such big, beautiful, burly bears, it's an emotional journey." I love you guys.
We love you, Brian. Thank you.
We love you too, Brian. Thank you. I feel like you're subtly calling us fat, but thank you. Big burly. We are big burly bears. We're no longer
Someone did say I was looking...
Athletic twinks.
Someone say...
Athletic young twinks.
Athletic young bottoms.
We've turned into burly beard tops now.
I also should give a little... I got a little bit of feedback myself.
Yeah. Okay. You go. I've got another one as well.
Drubagiotti.
Shout out Drew Bargiotti.
Got in contact with me and he said, "It's an honor to have been followed by you, sir." Because he followed me, I followed him back,
Yeah. You know how it is.
Last night...
Follow. That's how Guy rolls. Follow for follow.
Yeah.
If anybody wants in,
Like
follow
for a
follow.
like.
Like for a like.
Last night I saw Older, and sir, I'm mesmerized by the ending. The ending reminded me of the ending of the movie Amelie, and I was in tears by the performance. Obviously referring to my performance.
Your performance, not Leish's. No.
Keep up the good work.
Yep.
I hope in the future I would see more movies made by you. I said, "Hey man, thank you so much. Glad you watched the film and glad it moved you. Love to hear stories like this." Love heart emoji.
If you'd like to hear more stories from us, here's our Patreon.
What did you watch it on? He says, "I searched best romantic world movies on Google, and after some time, I found the name of your movie, and I downloaded it from YTS and watched it on my PC."
Yeah.
I sort of knew that would be the thing.
Yeah.
You did, and then I was like, okay.
You're beloved by pirates everywhere.
If you have time, give it a rating and review on imdb.com. It helps. Lets people know it's out there.
Yeah.
Hand prayer emoji. He said, "Certainly." I said, "Thanks, brother." He said, "It's completely my pleasure, brother." Heart with a bow emoji. I said, "Captain salute handshake emoji."
Uh-huh.
He said, "Handshake emoji."
Yeah. And then, unsolicited dick pic. You sent one, I mean.
So, I appreciate that. Look, if you're going to be a pirate and love Older...
Yeah. At least be kind about it.
Hey, at least tell me about it and at least give us a review on IMDb.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People should, that goes for our 5150 listeners. If you could go and
YTS
give it a review.
It's not where you should watch. You can watch it for free.
Yeah, well, it's available on Tubi. It's literally in the link of this podcast. In the description of this podcast, you can scroll down. There's a link there about Older. Click on that one, and then it'll say buy now. Click on that one, and then, or watch now maybe. Buy now, I think it says. Click on that one, and then in there is a link that says watch for free, Tubi, and you can watch it absolutely free. It won't be the director's cut, but you can watch it.
So, speaking of Older, we've had an offer to make another sale with Older through our distributor.
Uh-huh.
All we need to do is supply them a mix, a music and effects mix, which is essentially where you take out all the dialogue because they're going to overdub the dialogue in Spanish.
Right. Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So
I thought oh, no. Oh, yeah.
No, so
I thought we already did a Spanish, but it's Spanish subtitles.
Spanish subtitles.
Not Spanish overdub. Oh.
So now all we have to do is...
who are these people? I need to hit them up and be like, yo, I can do my lines myself. I'll record them and send them to you in fucking Spanish, yo.
They'll go, thank you, lead actor who's in this. We don't want that. We'll get a Spanish guy to overdub you rather than you overdub you. That's how we do things over here.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it does. Well, I guess it makes...
I'm going to hit them up. I'm going to get the email address off you and I'm going to be like, yo.
Well, I don't have their email address.
Oh, right. Yeah. I got to talk to Linda. Yeah, I got to talk to the sales agent.
You got to talk to Auntie Linda.
Yeah. Well, look, we could record that audio right in here. And I could record it in Spanish. It'd be fucking excellent. We'll hit up Vidat, get Envy Studios, see if we can get some ADR done.
Yeah, I did talk to him about it.
Yeah, about the Spanish version, you mean?
Yeah, he's going to supply that track.
Yeah.
But that's as far as it goes.
As far as it goes, yeah. No, I'd pay him. They can pay him. Well, that's good. That's exciting news.
Yeah, so, but the other thing is I have to create a script, like a shooting script, like a dialogue list, but actually the script apparently. So I have to essentially go and rewrite
Wait, what do you mean? So you've got to take the script that is not the script, the original script, but the script of what it actually became.
Yes,
so
with the actual dialogue.
Like a what's the word? Not dictation, because dictation is recording it, but the audio, the words written down. Transcription, that's it.
Transcription.
Yeah. Surely there's some sort of bot on the internet that can do that for
there
you.
is. There is. The problem is it's still
Just
like...
feed the movie in, you know?
Oh, it's...
And then tweak it.
The problem is it's like, yes, it can, like, you still have to go through every single line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And then sort of copy that and paste that into script format, because apparently they want it in script format, not a dialogue list.
What an annoying waste of time.
Oh, horrible.
Like, that's such a stupid waste of time. What are they going to even do with that?
The dialogue list?
Well, I guess they need it for the Spanish people to read it, then they're going to translate it.
They're going to translate it and act over it.
I see, because they can't use the the original script because it's no longer accurate.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's just a really fun thing to do over my holidays.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, well, I can help you with that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, watch the movie and write down the lyrics.
Yeah.
Write down the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the type of thing I can help you
On
with.
your bike, son, off you go.
Where you go, Harley? Here you go. Here's a feature film.
Let
2 hours
me know.
worth.
You'll be 10 pages in. You'll be like, you know how I said I was going to do this?
No, I didn't say I would do this. I said it's something I can help you with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
you'll say. That's exactly what you'll say. You go, I've done 10 pages. You know how I said I would do this?
And
I
you'll
didn't
be
say
like,
I would do this.
Yeah,
I said this.
But I didn't say I would do this. And you'll be like, well, fuck 10 pages. 10 pages is not enough. Well, fuck your help.
Yeah, I would say that for sure.
See?
I said thanks for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So we could be getting translated into Spanish.
Well, that'll be good.
Which would be cool to go to match the German version of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, which is comedically hilarious to listen to as a non-German speaker, and just see your listen to the actor's voice and
he doesn't sound like me.
Your voice.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like me. That last time I checked, that was still on YouTube, the German version of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. So if it is still out there, go and have a look. You can have a laugh. I didn't flag that one because I never flagged that one. I flagged all the rest of them that I found, but I never flagged that one because it was the only place where I could watch the German version, and I wanted to have access to it still.
Yeah, well, for comedic purposes, it's pretty funny. We should really download it and clip some bits out of it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It should be turned into little shorts and TikToks and other bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other shout out I've got is for Gina Delabarca. She is a Sifty 150 listener, but she doesn't make a big deal about it.
She never announces that.
She's a Sifty 150 listener. She tunes in, and I was talking to her today, and she said that part of the show's charm is that it's just us two hanging out and sort of talking shit.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about, I was saying like probably if we want the show to be more successful, probably it'd be better to tighten it up, structure it. You know, like it's always 1 hour long, and it's kind of got a bit of structure to it. So we move on from topics quicker, and we basically just kind of wrap it up at about an hour. And she countered that that was true, but that part of the show's charm is that just it's us hanging out and talking shit, and we're very comfortable with each other. And that she did also say though that it's quite hard to listen to a whole episode in one go because sometimes it's 2 to 3 hours. It's fair. It's a fair criticism. So shout out to Gina.
Let's thank you, Gina, and let's not make that mistake this time.
Yep.
But Tyler also asked, do you want me to send me all the I Survived a Zombie Holocaust BTS footage? Why? So you can make a BTS 2-hour documentary on I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, Tyler?
Because that'd be cool. You could do that. Because we've got Adam St. John did a whole bunch of shooting.
So I shot a bunch of, I don't know actually if there's some of the things that I shot, I don't know if some of the things I filmed in pre-production are still around, but we shot, so Adam St. John shot a bunch of stuff. The BTS people shot another bunch of stuff, and I have both of those. We shot a series of interviews on our old DVX, because that's all we had, interviewing everyone. Then you and I shot another series of interviews interviewing everyone, sort of, I guess, still before the film had come out, but around that time. So there's like a huge amount of like footage kind of discussing all the nightmarish filming conditions. That's probably, well, not probably, is really interesting to those wanting to make an independent zombie film, or for those interested in independent filmmaking, which has never seen the light of day. So Tyler's just signed up to make the feature version of that. He says, yeah, might as well. Might as well, Tyler, because otherwise it's just going to sit there for another 10 years. Because I don't have time.
Sign up.
So yes, I'll look into how I can get that footage to you. There is like I said, there's quite a lot of it. But yeah, I the last thing I did was sort of try and compile it all into one place, and put it on one of my hard drives. So I do have that floating about somewhere, which is essentially almost all of it. But yeah, it's interesting because I remember that the interview footage was shot at some of the interview footage was shot at our old flat in Grey Lynn, which was all wood floors. Sounded
terrible.
like, and we were using 816 Sennheiser mic,
designed for outdoors
and designed to
not
be
indoor echoey
and
areas.
essentially designed to be like on the sidelines of rugby games, picking up the sounds of the ball being kicked and shit.
Yeah,
not at all designed how we were using it. So, and also for I was going through a Johnny Depp phase, where I had like a goatee, the goatee thing going on, which, doesn't look amazing.
Didn't look that bad.
I mean, but it was with the it was with the mustache as well.
Yeah.
And so I kind of looked like a total jackass there. But also, then the prior interviews that were shot all on the DVX are like, shot in like people's rooms and stuff with a yellow light on, like zero effort, just recording, and they look absolutely atrocious. So I look forward to that all being put together. I think what's super interesting about it now is that now it's been so long since we did it, is that although I vividly remember some horror stories, there'll be many horror stories that I and other people recount that I don't even remember that are there. I mean, all you're doing is talking about flirting with extras and scoffing lollies.
I'm sure that was approximately 2 seconds of my interview. The bit you remember.
So yeah, it would be a bit like, surviving a zombie holocaust.
Yeah. That's what you call it.
Yep.
Although maybe we should keep the word zombie and Holocaust out of it again, given the, the lessons we learned last time.
Yeah, so I'd love to do that and see that put together because A, it's a great piece of history. B, it's a great exploration of an indie feature film being made, and it would, given all that footage that we have, would be very thorough. The only thing is, Tyler, that really to do the truest, greatest job.
Yeah, sorry. Continue.
You'd take all the raw footage from the actual shoot and chuck some of that in there as well, with things not working.
Footage?
I've got that as well.
Yeah, the raw footage.
The raw footage, I've got that as well.
Yeah, how many hard drives is that on?
2, but those 2 hard drives would now be a tiny hard drive this.
No, I mean how many? So you've got. I mean, how many hard drives did the entire film fit over? Only 2. So it was
2,
all of the raw footage from the film fits on 2 hard drives.
3
from 10 years ago.
4 terabyte hard drives from 10 years ago.
4 terabyte hard drives. I didn't even know they had 4 terabyte hard drives 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was a huge. Was a huge budgetary problem for us.
And then are those backed up, or is it just the one? They've got one hard drive each, and if that's it, it's that. That's it.
There's a couple of different variations. So we've got the original old hard drives, the literal firewire hard drives, and then I copied them onto some other hard drives, which are also floating about somewhere, which I may have given to our friend Isaac, so in case my house burnt down.
This treasure would be protected.
Yeah, this magic.
This treasure
was still there.
Yeah.
It would be fascinating. That'll be a 10-year project for you, Tyler. So best to get started soon.
Mate. Better get started. 2023 is the year that you start. If you get through 2023, that's 10% of the film ready, of the documentary ready. Yeah. But yeah, that would actually be pretty amazing. So we'll definitely look into that one. Well, on that note of Tyler taking on 10 years of unpaid work.
Yep. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that.
Thank you. We do appreciate
Greatly
that.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I did just want to end with one other small thing that happened, which was I went to Nelson a little while back, and in the morning, and there was some sort of mix up because my first night was booked by somebody else, and I booked my second night. I was at the hotel, and that's fine. But then in the morning, it was like 11 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. or something like that. And I got a knock on the door, and then the door burst open basically. And so it was the room service.
Yeah.
But basically they were like, knock, knock, knock. Kicked in the door. Then they were like,
waving the 4-4.
and then they're like, show me your dick, motherfucker. Which I did because I was like not
aroused.
I was walking. I was aroused.
You were excited by all this.
It was commotion, and I was expecting. Obviously I wasn't expecting them, and so I had to grab a blanket and kind of try to, hide my, humility or protect my innocence, whatever it is. And so it turned out that they thought I was leaving because of the separate booking thing.
Right.
And so that is how an old lady saw my dick.
And it won't be the last time.
And it won't be the last. And on that note, we will have to get out of here.
It's time to wrap things up. I do need to go to the toilet. I do need to pack for tomorrow.
Because you didn't even really tell them what you're doing. So we didn't even talk about Christmas and New Year's. What are you doing for Christmas?
I'm spending it with my family.
In a different city.
So I'm in Dunedin, and then I'm going to Queenstown, and then I'm going to Nelson. But really, the whole reason that I'm going down for not just a day or a week or something like that is because my grandma, 89 years old, 89 years young, has made the trip over.
Yeah.
And so I just want to spend as much time as I can with her and enjoy that.
Is she here already?
She just arrived 2 days ago, I think.
That's a hell of a journey. London to Dunedin is a hell of a fucking journey. Because the flight from Australia to New Zealand wouldn't have flown into Dunedin, would it? Probably not. It probably would have flown into Auckland or Wellington, and then she has to catch another domestic flight after all that time.
It's essentially one of the longest, most arduous journeys you can make in the world from London to New Zealand. And she's made
in terms of flying, at least.
She's made it 89.
Yeah. Bloody good on her.
Yeah. So legend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my plan is a orphans Christmas here, probably. Here at the house, we'll light the fire in the backyard if the weather's all right. We'll make up a batch of sangria and get a few people around, and just whoever doesn't have somewhere to be, we can invite them around as long as they're not dickheads. So if any of the 5150 listeners find themselves at orphans this Christmas, we can probably accommodate you. You can come around in the afternoon. We'll get some bangers on the old Barbie.
I was going to say,
light the fire.
If you're wondering what it's going to be like, if you refer back to Harley's birthday video.
Which one was that?
It'll be, but this one will be like,
to me,
Merry Christmas
to me. Yeah. Well,
so that's what it's gonna be like if you don't come over and say hello.
Exactly.
And Tyler is off to Hawaii. Wow,
Hawaii.
That's gonna be pretty sweet.
That is going to be pretty sweet.
And so enjoy that time. Have a great one. And we'll see you all in the new year. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year. Guy's going to be away all the way until the new year. So there's not going to be another show until next year. And Guy's not going to be at the New Year's party.
Happy New Year.
Won't be there. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. On New Year's, I've got no plan either. It's going to be just see if there's a party happening somewhere around here.
Dear Harley.
Happy birthday to me. Great video.
Masterfully edited and filmed.
Some of my best work.
It really is. One of the greats.
Well, on one of the greats, we are out. Please use all the links in the description to support us. Please also hit thumbs up and subscribe wherever you're listening, because that all really, really helps us, and we don't really push that enough. So please do. Hell, if you're feeling really generous, please share this episode. Send it to your mum, show it to your friends. That all really helps. And we'll be back in 2023 with a brand new episode of the Guy and Harley podcast.
See you later.